Hello everybody, my name is Matthew Walker with Medical Device Academy, and in this very brief video we're going to go over calculating your RPN score or your risk priority number for your FMEA. RPN stands for your risk priority number and is calculated based off of the severity, probability of occurrence, and detectability determined during your failure modes and effects analysis. The higher your RPN number, the higher the potential risk. The formula for determining your RPN is your severity multiplied by your probability of occurrence multiplied by your detectability level. S stands for severity, and in the grading system for your FMEA, you should be able to define the severity of your effect or how bad that particular failure mode is. There should be a scale that determines a numerical number used in calculating your RPN. And for example, business risk here, sometimes also called financial risk, is rated as a 0 on our scale because there's no potential harm to the patient or user. O stands for probability of occurrence, or how often this particular failure is expected to happen. And it should follow a very similar grading scale as the severity did. And you're going to, again, assign a numerical number to it. And the first time you fill out your FMEA, this may be based off of estimates rather than actual data if your device hasn't gone to market yet. So for example, if the original FMEA had a scoring of 2 because it was a remote chance of occurring, and happening in 1 in 50,000 times. And if you have a very large process, this number may be different for you. Your probability of occurrence may be 1 in 500,000 rather than 1 in 50,000. So this may need to be updated when you have actual data to use. And after you've done the process 100,000 times, you might determine that the probability of occurrence in actuality is more like 1 in 5,000 times rather than 1 in 50,000. So you'll have to go back and update your scoring for your probability of occurrence from a remote 2 to a low 4. I will highlight those in a different color. There. Detectability is a measurement of how the particular failure mode can be found. So if this is something that is a completely automated process that has an automatic detection system, your scaling is going to give a rating of 2. If by chance you're just doing visual inspections, the scale rating is going to be an 8. And pretty much anywhere in between there, unless of course this particular failure mode happens to be completely undetectable, and that gives you a score of 10, which ideally we're hoping to avoid. Your risk level or your risk priority number scale is going to be the ranking system that's used for your RPN number to determine its level of risk. And the lower the number, the lower the risk. So as an example for calculating the RPN for a process FMEA, this is a quick fictitious scenario that we're going to look at. And we're going to examine the receiving inspection of just a plastic molded part for a medical device. And the receiving inspection is going to be a visual inspection that uses a backlit optical overlay and template. And the specific failure mode we're going to look at is the dimming of the light used in the lighting element to provide the backlight for the overlay template. So for our particular scenario, the plastic piece that's being inspected is just a part of a plastic shell. It's non-patient contacting, doesn't affect the function of the device, and in the FMEA analysis, it's been determined that Even a catastrophic failure of this particular part has no potential for harm to the patient or user. So we will assign this a severity of risk of 0 because it's just a business or financial risk. And for the probability of occurrence, our team of engineers has estimated that this has a low probability of occurrence and probably 1 in 5,000 times. And that's going to give us a score of 4 or low. And after we've done this process 10,000 times, we might have to go back and update our FMEA to reflect the actual numbers now that we have real data to base our numbers off of instead of just estimates. For detectability or how this particular failure is discovered, the current process is just going to rely on routine maintenance and calibration and reports from the inspecting personnel. So because this is something that can be visually inspected, the personnel can look at the backlight and say, gee, this is not very bright today. It is something that is going to be a visual inspection, and that gives us a scale of 8. Now that we have our S, O, and D numbers, we can do our FMEA math to calculate what our risk priority number is. Now the formula is very simple. It's our severity number times our probability of occurrence number times our detectability number to get our RPN. So our individual scores were 0, 4, and 8 for our fictitious scenario, and that gives us an RPN score of 32, which on our risk level scale is still considered a low risk. It's almost a medium, but not quite. So let's say that the engineers and managers decided that even though this is still a low risk, this is something that they can improve on and move from the routine maintenance and visual inspection of the light bulb to getting a gauge and determining minimum light output requirements for the backlighting of the optical overlay. If they move to something that's measured by a gauge, that is going to change our detectability score from an 8 to a 4. So if we go back and redo the math, and I have terrible computer penmanship, so please just bear with me here. Instead of 0 times 4 times 8, we have 0 times 4 times 4. And that's going to change our RPN number from a 32 to 4, 8, 12, 16, which even though that is still in the low range for risk levels, it has cut our risk level in half. So for a little bit of a disclaimer and shameless sales plug, the scales and charts I used in this video came from our Process FMEA template. And in our quality management system, that's going to be Form 25. And if you wish, that is part of our risk management procedure, SYS-010. And if you are in the market for a new risk management procedure or need our pFMEA template, follow this link below for more information. So thank you very much for sticking with me this long. And if you need to contact us for any reason, if you have questions about this particular video or need help with a regulatory submission or quality system issue, feel free to contact us. You can visit us on our website at medicaldeviceacademy.com, our phone number, or if you wish to email our president directly, you can reach him at rob@13485cert.com. Or if you want, I will include my email, and you can reach me at matthew@fdaecopy.com. We work in most aspects of all regulatory submissions and quality systems for primarily in the markets of the United States, Canada, and the European Union. So thank you again for sticking with me, and I hope I was able to help you with filling out your RPN number and FMEA forms, and I hope you have a great day.